Welcome back to the Spiritual Grind with Dr. Jenny and James. We are here today to spank our monkey.
Wow. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Jenny. We're going to spank our monkey today on a podcast.
Okay. Well, all right then.
You know, what we're referring to is what we call the monkey mind.
Yes.
The monkey mind is kind of a negative, well, not really a negative. It's just a response to a current belief system that you're operating based off an emotional response or an experience.
Yeah, so I came up with the terminology because it's a fun way to refer to it as. I try to come up with childlike terminology. And monkey mind to me is, in my mind, I've got this monkey just kind of bouncing around, doing dumb shit in my head. Monkey mind.
What was that? There was a show out where the guy had the two angels. He had a good angel on one shoulder and the bad angel on the other. What was that show?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Where the bad angel would get in his ear and be like, hey, you should do this. It's really going to be fun. Right. That's kind of the monkey mind, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And it's a pretty deep topic. And so saddle up. Let's go for a ride.
Let's go for a ride. So the monkey mind comes to fruition. We're kind of coming off of the Simplified Energy podcast where we talked about identifying energy. And especially for those empaths that are out there that don't understand why they have an emotional response to an energy they have picked up from others. And the monkey mind is part of that process.
I think it's also not just for empaths.
Oh, yeah, it's for everybody.
It's for everybody because there's things that go on in everybody's world. And they don't understand where it's coming from or why. And that's what we're here to help figure out.
So basically, my monkey mind, how I describe it, would be when something comes up that's uncomfortable, it's that worst case story that gets built in your head. You know, it's like, oh my God, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. Oh my God, this is going to happen. And that is a monkey mind, response. Main example I can think of is you're at work and your boss is coming and you don't like it. That's a monkey mind response of, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so let's go doctor on you for a minute.
Okay, doctor.
This is a good opportunity to really give it a definition. So, life really has no meaning.
What?
Where's the little sound effects that you do?
What do you want me to? Oh, is that a...
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh,
you don't have one of those buttons?
Apparently I don't. Let's see, would it be this one?
Oh, God. We need a button modification.
Is it this one? Life has no meaning.
Life really has no meaning. And let me explain. If you're sitting out at the mall, which we like to do, we like to sit at the mall. James likes to look at their aura. I like to see how they feel. We just play little games like that. But if a complete stranger walks by, you don't know them from Adam. They don't know you from Adam. They walk up to you and they say, your shoes are ugly. It doesn't mean anything until you put meaning to it. And you're like, okay, well, thanks for the information.
I appreciate you coming and just throwing negative energy at me for absolutely no reason.
That still is giving it meaning.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, you don't know them. And you're like, wow, that's weird. Why did that happen? Or you just shun it off and you move on because it has no meaning. We, as individuals, give every microsecond of the day the meaning to life as we see it, as we perceive it. So to take that one step further, your perception is made up of how the story you're writing in your monkey mind is through your beliefs, patterns, programs, etc. So if you, for instance, say, are dreading having to have a meeting with your boss, it could be that you've told yourself a story that is not altogether accurate because in the past you've had experiences where you go to a meeting with your boss and you're getting in trouble for something.
Yes.
Well, if you're still hanging on to that experience, you might be telling yourself a story of, okay, when you get called to the principal's office,
I'm going to get in so much trouble.
I'm going to get in trouble. It's not going to be a good experience. It's not going to be pleasant. That's you telling a story that is, let's go heavy. It's a lie. It's literally your monkey mind telling you a lie. It may not even be true. There may be nothing about that that's true, but you've created that story or that perspective about the situation that's about to happen.
And you don't even know because it's in the future.
Right.
Yeah, your monkey mind creates stories in the future.
Yeah, you could go into this meeting and your boss is wanting to have a positive conversation of, I really enjoyed this, or I like what you're doing with things. You have no idea. And so staying in that moment of, okay, this really has no meaning. And am I giving it a positive meaning or a negative meaning based on my previous experiences?
Yep.
So that brings me to, there's a little sign on a chalkboard that we look at every day when we do these podcasts. And it says, don't let yesterday use up too much of today.
That's right. Yes. Because you're remembering things and you experience them again, and you'll bring them right back into the forefront.
Right. I mean, if you're looking at things from that viewpoint of what happened in the past, yesterday, and telling a story in your head, monkey mind, that it's going to go the exact same way, then you're just perpetuating that energy.
Well, it's the same way, too. I think the monkey mind applies to a lot of things, including not just work. It also includes relationships, friendships.
Every aspect of the life of Pi. I call it the life of Pi because it's all segregated into different topics.
Understood.
And it does. It applies to every single bit of it. To your partner. If you perceive that your partner is going to behave a certain way because of past events, then you don't give that partner the opportunity to act any differently.
The freedom to.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you've already decided in your not true story that he's going to act in a certain way when this event comes up. And so you've already set in motion the energy and the behaviors behind how you're going to react or respond, not giving him space to react or respond differently because you've already set the tone.
Right, yeah. And so the monkey mind creates a perceived story that's in the future that is this is going to happen. And we really don't know that's going to happen.
Yeah. And then subconsciously starts to act and behave on that.
My perception of the monkey mind is kind of a really unfair perception because my monkey mind creates stories that expects other people to do certain things. And I mean, it can be multifaceted. I've got to do this. This person's going to do that. That person's going to do this. And then it creates this big story, all based off previous experiences.
That you're telling in your head.
That I'm telling in my head, correct.
Yeah. So if you could get to a place where you kind of go neutral in your mind and spank the monkey.
Spank the monkey. That's how I get rid of my monkey mind.
Whatever technique you need to use to put that monkey mind at bay. I sometimes have to tie mine to a chair and put duct tape over its mouth in the corner, visualizing that I do that.
Yeah.
James, most of the time, likes to beat the shit out of his.
No, I'll just yank him up by his hand and paddle his butt, tell him to go hide. He runs off into the trees.
Or sometimes give it a banana.
Yeah. And sometimes when they do good monkey mind stuff, well, you can give them a banana because sometimes the monkey mind is an intuition.
Yeah.
And identifying the differences is where the belief system comes in. If it's been a previous experience that the monkey mind is giving you a perception of a story in the future, then intuition is not in play.
Yeah, so it's a good idea, though, to be careful not to intertwine that.
Yes. Kind
of like when we were talking about energy, the other person's energy, frequency, and yours.
Yeah.
Being able to identify those separate and apart from. So if you give your intuitional inserts of information the same title as you give your human inserts, it will confuse you if you're not careful.
Yeah, well,
so you want to call the monkey mind the nonsense or the trash that's being made up, and then your higher self or intuitive information that comes in, it really needs to have its own categorical topic name.
Right. You know, there's a saying out there that says, be careful what you look for because you're going to find it. You know, that's where a lot of people get confused about intuition and monkey mind is they have a monkey mind thought process. And I've seen it a lot in growing up and in coming through life where, I've had friends, I had a secretary at work one time. She was all worried that her husband was cheating on her. I knew her husband really well. He was not cheating on her, but she would go through his phone. She would go check up on him at work. She would do all sorts of things that created an energy that actually created the environment, because her monkey mind was saying, oh, he's going to cheat on me because of her insecurities from her previous relationship. Her boyfriend did cheat on her. Okay,
so we're going to lovingly, I love you so much. Mm-hmm. We're going to rephrase that just a bit. Okay. Because that trigger alert, don't you have like a ambulance thing or something? Trigger alert.
No, I don't.
Because what I just saw happen is that you just pet the cat the wrong way, and
okay,
you've allowed a lot of people out there to get upset that you justified him cheating because she did whatever she did to make that happen. So let's clarify.
Okay, clarify, doctor.
Let's ease that up just a little bit, because when you're talking about a relationship, first of all, you have two people in this play. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean that what she did directly caused him to do what he did. He
Correct.
Still had choices in it, and he still made choices within it.
Correct.
And so by no means do we say she needs to own every aspect of that behavior and what he did.
Correct. I agree.
So then what are we saying? Exactly.
So I brought it to the forefront of how people do things.
Wow, you know what? Just go right 0 to 60. Let's just take this in a difficult place.
I just brought it into a different level because that's how a lot of people think in the spiritual world is I created this environment. Why is this happening to me? And the monkey mind's what's creating that thought process. Do you understand where I was going with that?
So I do, but I want to make sure that they do.
So basically what the point I was trying to get to is we have a tendency to believe, because we're so taught in the world that we live in, and the people that listen to this podcast probably live in the same world that we do. And they know that what we put out, we get back. We create our own environment. So when they have these monkey mind thoughts that are perceived as real, they will create this world where they blame themselves for their monkey mind.
Okay.
And they think they created that, because I've seen it. I've seen it. We've actually experienced it a little bit, where I stop and say, why did I create this?
Right.
And in reality, I didn't create it. It was a direct response based off the energy of my monkey mind that two people were operating within this energetic dimension, so to speak, that they have played their part of a play.
We're going deep, folks.
We're going real deep.
Roll your britches legs up.
Part of that play plays itself out similar to the monkey mind, and so we become to where we blame ourselves for our monkey mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, get your carrots out. We're going down a rabbit hole. So, again, I lovingly agree to disagree.
Okay.
You still create that reality for yourself.
Agreed.
You
I don't know what's going on today, but she's disagreeing with everything I'm saying. Maybe I should just cancel this podcast and go golfing or something.
Oh, no, this is a juicy hamburger. You got juice from that big fat piece of meat running down your chin. This is juicy stuff, man.
Juicy stuff.
So we still create our reality.
Right.
100%. That's accountability.
I agree.
We are creating it. But you have another person, and we'll go relationship part of the pie. As the husband and as the wife, I'm creating my reality. You're creating your reality. And we have to figure out, how do we create that reality together?
Correct.
And understand and give love and understanding to knowing that the other person has things they want to experience, things they want to explore for themselves. challenges that they're having to overcome with their beliefs, patterns, and programs. We have to give space to that and not let our monkey mind tell a story that he is doing these things and I know he is, and I'm going to go look for the seeing is believing evidence to prove my monkey mind to be correct.
Correct.
That's how you create a scenario that could possibly help nudge that person into doing some sort of act that you don't necessarily care for. The other way would be if you have a contractual obligation prior to coming into your human meat suit, which sometimes causes meat sweats, then as a soul self, you created these themes that you wanted to experience for growth and evolution. So if you have a contractual obligation between you and that person to experience in the play of life a cheating scenario, then that person is going to follow through with their inspired script, right? Yeah. Good word. In that, because you wanted to experience what it was like to be on the receiving end. They wanted to receive, rewind. They wanted.
Editor, please cut that.
We got to pay him more money, man. They wanted to experience what it was like to be the receiver and the doer, right? Basically, is what I'm saying.
Well, we're getting way off topic here with monkey mind, aren't we? We're going way deep.
Telling you. I said, grab your carrots, man. This is a rabbit hole. You have no idea. All right, so bring it back around.
Okay, so basically, what I was where I was going with it is the monkey mind can create and rewrite scripts, and like you just said, everybody's playing a part in this play in this life. And be it contractual obligation, be it a one-on-one energetic exchange, the monkey mind will create a story that's in the future based off your experiences and can rewrite scripts of the play.
That may not always be true about the other person or the other people that are taking place in the play. That's the point to get to.
Yeah, that's right. And so identifying that monkey mind perception, like when we talked about in Simplified Energy podcast about the impasse at the stoplight. You referred to, why am I angry at this stoplight? And it tells a story like, I'm angry because I'm going to be late for work, or you think you're going to be late for work because this light is stopped. That is a monkey mind story, because you don't really know you're going to be late for work unless you're truly already late for work. For all you know, you could pass through a portal and be at work in 2 seconds.
Oh, that's another deep topic.
And we're going to pass on that. I just threw it out there. But the monkey mind will create the story of an emotion that's based off the story of the empath is feeling their energy of, and create this environment to where you are actually picking up an energy. And not just empaths do this. It can be spread. It's kind of like a sneeze or a yawn. When somebody yawns in the room, everybody in the room yawns. It's kind of the same thing. It just gets passed along.
Right.
And the monkey mind creates a story based off their emotions, and identifying the monkey mind is where we're trying to be at today, and how to control the monkey mind. And so how do you identify your monkey mind?
Well, that's a good question. So, I always like to take it back in the beginning. So in the beginning, when I was just still baby new, trying to figure all this stuff out, how did I define that story? It was really just stopping again and bringing it to the awareness, not letting it live in the subconscious. That's the key to every single aspect of it. Realizing that, okay, wait a minute. Is this story that I am telling, is there truth to it? Is there verifiable, documentable truth to the story that I'm telling? Or am I just making up a story that I think is going to happen?
Right.
And so once I was able to have that quick little conversation, then I could logically say, okay, the story that I just told is, there's no evidence that the story is going that way. So that tells me that it is my monkey creating this story of what I think is going to happen. So I want to step away from that story, and I want to look at the other side of the coin. And I want to say, okay, well, at the same time, the story could go like this. And we use the example of going to the principal's office or the boss's office, dreading being called into the office because...
Ring, 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 ring. Yes, Dr. Jenny, can you please come to my office, please?
Mrs. O'Wiggins.
Mrs. O'Wiggins.
Can I... And so you create this monkey mind story of, oh my God, I'm in trouble. What did I do? And you're scanning.
As you walk to the office.
Right. But at the same time, stopping and saying, okay, wait a minute. I am creating a story about an event that's about to happen. And is it true?
Right.
Is that true? Other side of the coin. No, there's nothing that is in play that makes that story true. So that's monkey mind.
Right. That's where you look back and haven't identified any stories that actually validate the monkey mind thoughts.
And that's how I had to do it in the beginning. I had to go very logical with it.
Yeah.
Now, advanced teaching, I learned to start to feel the frequency or the vibration of the different thoughts, of the higher self thoughts that were coming in, the monkey mind thoughts. Not perfect at it, still catches me sometimes, but I do catch it. That's the key. And I will talk to what I call my human, which is my husband, aka my husband. Me. And I'll go to him and I'll say, listen, I'm having this weird scenario go on. Can you check in for me? It feels monkey mind, but I'm having a hard time untangling the frequency. So it still is a practice this many years later. And practice makes perfect.
I do mine a little differently. When I have monkey mind thoughts that come in and tell me these stories like ring, 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 ring. Hey, James, can you come to my office, please? And as I'm walking to the office, all these stories fly into your head. And you like my ring, ring?
I was envisioning that the monkey was calling you.
And,
yeah, Mayday. We're out of bananas down here. It's an emergency.
It's an emergency. And as you walk into the office and your boss has called you and you get all these thoughts of, oh my God, what did I do? You start running through your Rolodex of things you could have done wrong instead of the Rolodex of things you could have done right.
That's right.
And when you start looking for things that's negative and there's no experience based on it in the history, it's probably monkey mind. If you can't relate an experience based off that thought process and after you've identified why am I having this story, because you just said it right. It's you want to bring the subconscious thought to the conscious awareness.
Yeah.
And so, oh my gosh, I forgot to return this report in on time, or I forgot to do all this. And when you stop and say, wait a minute though, I've never turned my report in late. You're identifying that that's probably a monkey mind thought. And you have to stop and release that or stop that. Like I imagine me picking my monkey up and spanking his butt and sending him to the trees. And however you want to spank your monkey mind is kind of up to you, but releasing it.
My monkey's a spoiled brat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He gets to sit in a chair in the corner and eat bananas or play the Game Boy or distract him. Here, listen, dude, I'll pay you $50 if you'll sit in this chair in the corner and shut up for a minute.
Play your video games. Go to your room and play your video games. And so the monkey mind experience can be large. I mean, it can create some vivid stories, man.
Yeah. And the next key to it is how is it making you feel?
Right.
Because remember in the other podcast, we talked about using your feelings as a gauge because the universe doesn't have ears.
Right.
It's not listening to the words you're saying. It's feeling the energy that you're putting out.
Right.
And so if your monkey mind has created a story and that makes you feel fearful, anxious, nervous, and you don't figure out a way to feel better before you go in that boss's office, the universe says, okay, this is how you feel. Here's another heaping spoonful of that.
Right.
And so then that interaction with the boss goes in that direction.
Yes. Yeah. And I think for me, the monkey mind can be fun to play with actually at times.
Of course. That's what this is all about.
When you get a monkey mind that you can't identify, but this story is huge. And you have told me many times, well, create the story bigger.
Right.
Take it beyond and then see if it takes away the power of that monkey mind.
Yeah. Write history.
Right. So, oh my gosh, I'm going to get in trouble for not turning in a report. When really, oh my God, I got caught stealing. She knows I'm sleeping with her secretary, or whatever that is. You just make the story worse. Make it worse in your mind. And now the little story that monkey mind's telling you is pretty small.
Exactly. If you
take away its power.
That's right. Tell the story in the worst case scenario. Give yourself an opportunity to realize that you can survive the worst story you can possibly come up. Then it has no power because you've come up with resources and things in place that say, you know what? I am okay. I am safe. And everything is always working out for me. And I got this.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for listening today. We had to break this podcast up into 2 parts because it was so long. And I hope you enjoyed part 1 of Spank Your Monkey. And stay tuned for part 2.